Record.
Love
I
it.
think that's so funny how it does that now. Every time somebody else records a meeting, I always go, oh my gosh. So welcome to, I don't even know what to call this, like a social hour. It's not even gonna be an hour long, but basically I want to come in here and I want to share my story in hopes to motivate and inspire you and to kind of share with you what is possible. Um, it's crazy to think like where I've come in the last 2.5 years. If you knew me before, the fitness, the mindset work, and the like little practices that I've implemented, I feel like I'm a completely different person. Caitlin might be able to attest to that because we did work together way back in the day. Um, so I'm just pulling up my notes.
Back in my 20s.
Yeah.
Back in
So I'll share a little bit about myself. Some things you might not know about me, some you might know. My name is Star. It is my real name. My parents are just big hippies. I'm 25. I am a support worker, so I work with community living, and I support 7 adults who either have physical or developmental delays, specifically like autism and Down syndrome. And I've done that for about 2 years now, just over 2 years. I am an athlete, so all of my brothers have been playing sports since they were little. When I grew up and I started like going to my brother's hockey games, I started to get interest. I've played hockey and baseball for most of my later teen years and going into young adulthood. I have a big family. I have 3 brothers and a sister, so I do get the busyness, I do get the chaos of life in terms of taking care of yourself and what it looks like navigating through, all of the chaos. So I actually started my journey in October of 2018. And it all started because, I'm an athlete, and after high school, I feel like I lost, kind of my identity. Like rugby stopped, hockey stopped, and I didn't know, like, I feel like I just lost a part of myself in that. And I had got so consumed up with different materialistic things that before I knew it, I was a miserable person. Before Beachbody and the fitness program specifically, I was working at a daycare. I loved the job, but I hated the way that we were treated. The work that I worked at was a very toxic environment. All of the
I can attest to that.
all of the teachers, all of the people that I like, you're supposed to learn from and do life with that work were very toxic. And it was hard to, go into that every day and try to be better and do better when everyone around you was so toxic. So the work, and it leaked from management. Management was very, very poor. And so we didn't get the support that we needed. It led me to being very miserable there and very unhappy. I remember thinking like all the time, every week, I was like, I'm gonna fucking quit my job. I hate this. Like, I deserve more. I deserve better, but I never did anything about it. And that's a huge part of like, my testimonies. I knew that I deserved better, but there was nothing I ever did. I never took action, and it spiraled out of control. And it led me to this place of feeling like unworthy. I felt really stuck, and I felt overwhelmed because nowadays people are all over the internet, all over everywhere, offering you the next fad diet or the next, this is the solution to your problem, right? Without actually getting to the root of the problem. So while I was at the daycare and, working a year and a half into knowing that I needed to quit, I also was in a very toxic friend group. And so not all, I shouldn't say all, but a lot of the people that I hung out with were really shitty people. Okay. They would like talk about my friends as like, they would literally all talk shit about each other. And as soon as that person would leave, they would talk shit. As soon as they'd come back, they'd act like their best friend. And there was a part of me that was like, yo, this is not what I want. Like, your friends shouldn't be talking shit about you, because if they're talking about that person when they leave, what are they saying about me? Right. And so I was just so stuck in this place of, constantly seeing what I didn't want and knew that I deserved better, but I couldn't like navigate. I felt lost in trying to navigate, okay, I have a toxic workplace, I have a toxic friend group, but I feel alone. Like I was like, I don't even know, like, does anyone else see what I see? Am I going crazy? Like, how do I get through this? What's next? Like, is there anything more for me? And it came down to one night in August. I had like a mental breaking point. I snapped, and I told my best friend, we're best friends to this day, but it was really rough for a couple months after, but I told her that I couldn't be in her wedding. There was a bunch of drama. That was the toxic environment. And it broke my heart, but I was like, I cannot be like around this. And so like we're good friends now, but it was a rough summer. And that's when I was like, okay, like something has to change. This cannot be the rest of my life. This cannot be what the rest of my, like I'm 23. This cannot be what all that life is meant to be, right? So I don't even know how like it happened, but this girl popped into my DMs, which is my now coach, Shauna, in August. She popped into my DMs in August, and she just introduced herself and basically was like, hey, like, how's it going? Like, thanks for watching my stuff or whatever. And I liked one of her, she posted this really cute sunflower photo, and I'm obsessed with sunflowers. So anyway, so she messaged me in August, and then she ended up inviting me to her workouts. And I was like, okay, being an athlete, I know that moving your body is really good for your mind. It's good for your, processing things. It's a good outlet. It's always been a good like therapy for me. And so I knew that there was going to be a benefit to her programs, but I was hesitant because in the past, like I had opened myself up to so many different things and nothing worked. I had the PTs, I had the wrap, I had the fast slim trim, I had the pills, and nothing had worked. So I was really hesitant. But at the same time, I was so desperate. I remember being so desperate for anything and just something that was good, because I had so much negativity in my life that something had to balance. And so we had talked about it, and it wasn't actually until October that I was like, okay, I literally let myself just like run dry. And I remember October 26th, 2018, like no other. I had walked upstairs and I looked into the mirror. I have a dresser with that big like mirror on it. And so I looked into the mirror and I was like, oh my gosh, like what has happened to me? I'm an athlete. Well, like I used to be an athlete. Like I know what it means to take care of my body. I'm like, what happened? I feel like I let everything go. I feel like, between the toxic friendship, the toxic work environment, I was emotional eating, I was stress eating, and I just didn't care. I literally had that I don't give a shit attitude for everything, right? And so that was, when you say that to yourself, like I don't give a shit, like yes you should and you do, right? And so it started to change for me when I enrolled with her programs October 26th, and I was like, okay, like I'm just gonna try this. Like I really didn't know how it was gonna go, but at this point I had tried everything, and I looked in the mirror and I went to bed crying that night because I was like, I just want to be the baddest bitch my boyfriend's ever seen. I want to be like, I want to glow with confidence. I want to just be that person that people are attracted to because I'm happy. I want to be confident, right? And so I enrolled with Shauna that night, and I was like, hey girl, like I need to get my shit together. I've been thinking about this for like 3 months, and now I'm ready to take action. Like nothing has changed for me in the last 3 months. So it's go time. Like I can't do it on my own. I've never been that type of person. Like I've always been like, okay, tell me what to do, share with me what to do, and I will smash these goals out of the water. And so I did my first program. It was called PIO. So it's 45-minute program. And I fell in love with the way it made me feel. I was like back to the forms that I like. If you don't know PIO walks you through like forming. It walks you through Shailene's very good at instructing, each move, how long to do it for, and she like corrects your form along the way. So I just fell in love with the whole process, being an athlete and getting back into that, like getting into the zone. I fell in love with these programs. And so I signed up for these programs because I was like, okay, I want to lose weight because I look like trash. I need my mind to be in a better space. Like I just need something to change. And so I started with that program, and then I did a 21-day fix once I got weights, because I didn't have weights when I started, or I didn't have anything when I started. And it wasn't until one of my best friends was like, hey, like, what are you doing? Like, it was like 3 months into these programs, and my best friend was like, what are you doing? I'm like, what do you mean? And she's like, I'll never forget this conversation, because that was like the first one. I was like, holy shit. Like, taking care of myself doesn't just affect me, it affects everybody in my life. And so my best friend was like, no, but like you look happy. Like are you doing something? I'm like, well, like I'm started working out again. Like, I don't know if that's it. And she's like, no, that's totally it. Like, you just look happy. I'm like, okay, well, like maybe that's it. And so that was the first time that it had clicked for me that it's not just about me. Like, when you're miserable and you're unhappy inside, it leaks out into every other area, right? And so it was that moment that I was like, okay, like maybe I'm onto something. Maybe this is really what life is going to be better now. Life is going to be more, full of laughter. And it was that moment that I was like, okay, like maybe I should like be sharing this with other people who are like, were miserable like me. It obviously didn't just change overnight, right? I had been doing these programs and I'm still doing these programs to this day. But it was Dakota, like my best friend, that noticed the mood changes, noticed the energy levels, noticed how I was actually happy in my conversations, how, you know, I just walked with confidence. I walked with a different energy, a different kind of glow. Um, and after, you know, our conversations together with Dakota, my best friend, um, it was like, okay, like maybe I need to share this with other people. Maybe it's not just about me anymore, right? And so if I can go from, you know, being that hardened person into a person that loves and, you know, supports other women and shares with them what's worked for me, life can change. Because, you know, I love serving people. Like I went to Australia for 6 months and I traveled out there and I served churches and schools and different organizations. And then I went to El Salvador twice and I served over there too, like for a compassion trip. So I've always been that person that's loved to serve, but when you're, you know, when you hurt inside, you tend to hurt other people. And that was me. That was who I became. I became a hurt person. And a lot of my past traumas, obviously, like all, you know, collected over time to be that sad person that I was in 2018. Um, so it's just crazy to think that, you know, who I was in 2018, I don't even recognize her anymore because I'm at it, like I'm happy. And so it's hard, like I can't, it's crazy to me to like see where I've come. And so basically I just wanted to share with you guys a little piece of my story to like let you know that anything is possible, no matter what you're feeling right now, no matter if you've been discouraged or, you know, you feel stagnant in your journey or you've fallen off track or you've taken a break. That's okay. That is all a part of your journey. There is no end date, you know, except for when we're dead, but there is no end date to your, you know, your journey. And so that's the craziest part to me, is that, you know, every moment, every second, we get to choose. We get to choose better. We get to choose more confidence, stronger beliefs. And it didn't change all overnight. But when you place, you know, when I started hanging out with, you know, the girls that were also doing these workouts, because when I signed up, Shauna had put me in like her community group, like your bod group. And so it was crazy when I started placing myself around those girls more and talking to those girls more and engaging more with them instead of those toxic friendships. That's where my belief started to grow. My confidence started to grow. My self-worth and self-love started to grow. And that's where I really learned to live. Like the last 3 years, I've really learned to live out of not so much how I feel, but what action needs to be taken to feel better, right? So I used to live out of my emotions. So if I didn't feel like working out, I didn't. If I didn't feel like going to work, I didn't. If I didn't feel like going to hockey, I didn't. And it was just because for me, I can see in my own story that it was just because I was lazy. I didn't want to, so I didn't. I had that I don't give a shit attitude, like I'll do me, you do you kind of thing. And now, you know, I still where was I? Got off track. I still talked to those people, but I definitely set boundaries and I definitely set like, you know, space around it. And then I also like, you have to balance it out, right? So I made friendships. I reached out to other girls in the bod group because I was like, yo, like I need more of your energy. I need more of your positivity. And in taking care of yourself every day, and this is what I always say, like to you guys and my girls, is that showing up to a workout isn't just for me anymore. It's not just about losing weight. It's not just about toning. It's not just about building muscle. That is where I get to build my strength, my confidence, my self-worth every single day. And if I can build that here and have my armor up, I can go out into the world and someone can bash me and it's not even gonna phase me anymore because I know who I am. And so it's just crazy to see, you know, over the last 3 years where I've been. And like I said, I love to motivate people and I love to inspire people, so that you know what's possible too, right? So I've never really shared this before ever. Well, I have a little bit with like close people, but when I was 14, I was sexually abused. You would never know that. You would never know that because I never let that take power over me. I never let it define me. And you know, I was so blessed with people in my life then that I trusted to talk to about it. But also like that's when a lot of like that like my mentor that I had back then. I still have her now, but that mentor that guided me, she was like a follower of Christ, or she loved, she's like Christian, and she constantly was pouring into me about forgiveness and love. And so I was very blessed at that age to have somebody who was wise and, taught me about forgiveness and bitterness. And, because all of those things that I experienced built up to the anger and the miserable person that I had become. And so through this group in the last 3 years, I've really just focused on myself. I've really just, like, no one else gets to define me. No one else has the power over me like I do. I get to control what I do. I get to control how I feel, what I say, how I act. And that is like, it blows my mind, right? And it's just crazy to think, before these programs, before this fitness, before this, our community, I didn't live like that. Like, everyone else defined me. Everyone else had power over me. Like, I was a people pleaser, still am, but I'm working on it. But like, I gave into pressure all the time, and I was living my life for other people, and I drained myself. I drained myself so dry because I felt like, oh, I'm just being that good friend. Oh, I'm just going to go help her because that's who I am. I help people. I serve people. But there's a difference when you need to set boundaries and when you need to serve yourself first, right? So just like through my story, like, you guys need to know that you can do anything, and every moment is an opportunity for you to just, choose yourself, choose that better version of you, right? We all have that higher level self, and every moment you get to decide and choose to chase her, right? So I wrote notes down and I got so far off sidetrack. And yeah, so I didn't know then that this community was going to save my life. I didn't know the power that it had. All I knew was that I needed to go all in. You know, how you do one thing, this is a quote that's always stuck with me since I've heard it. How you do one thing is how you do everything. And for me, I can see that so much in my life. Like, I didn't give a shit here, so I didn't give a shit everywhere. I would go to work looking like a slob because I didn't give a shit. I would go to school looking like shit because I didn't give a shit, right? And so now that I actually care about, how I feel, how I look, life is different. Life is fun and it's beautiful. And not like, I don't like, if some girl's gonna come bash me, sweet. I'm glad that you were able to express that, but it doesn't faze me. I don't even let that shit get to me because I'm like, I know my worth now. Whereas before, I would have cried about that and probably like never, if that was about something that happened on social media, I would probably never appeared on social media again, right? But here's what I do know, body movement changes the wiring of your brain. It like changes the neurons, the neurotransmitters, and you're recreating, like, I'm a nerd when it comes to the brain. So but it literally changes the way that you feel, the way that you see yourself. And same with like personal development, right? You guys have probably heard about personal development before, but it looks so different to everybody. Some people love podcasts, some people love audiobooks, some people love, the paper books. I love paper books, but I know Susie likes her podcasts. Personal development has been key to changing my life. Okay. Like, when I get discouraged or, when I don't feel the best, personal development is where I will go. What was it, 2 weeks ago? I like literally overworked myself and I double booked myself and I ran myself dry. And I was in my head so much that I was like, okay, like, I'm going to go insane. Like, I felt like shit for a whole week because I was in my head discouraging myself. And I was like, wait, like, I have a book that literally talks about getting the fuck out of your head and into your life. So I literally read it within like 3 days and I was like, holy shit, I feel better, right? Sometimes you just need perspective. Sometimes you need tough love. Sometimes you just need someone to come along and grab you by the hand and say, let's go. Like, I've got you, right? And so body movement and personal development opens your mind up to a whole new world. Your endorphins start pumping. So when you do like exercise, your body releases hormones and it builds up energy and it creates like the happy endorphins. Also journaling, meditation can be, yes, Susie. Journaling, I do that every day. I'll do gratitude every day. I often share like my journal prompts every day. Meditation is something I've also gotten into a little bit. I don't do it every day, but that's the cool thing about these tools that I use is that sometimes I need them, sometimes I don't. And it's cool just to have like a toolbox where you can pull from when you need it, right? And so I love that comment, Susie. Yes, you're so right. And I didn't know. I feel like you don't know in the moment what you need sometimes. Or like, I didn't know then that I was gonna meet women who would rock my world, change my confidence, change the belief in myself, because sometimes all you need is someone else's belief. Sometimes all you need is that little pep talk to keep going. And so that's why I love our community. That's why I love the support that we give each other all the time. Literally just rocked my world. I'm just gonna look at my notes and grab a drink. Yeah, I think that's okay. So that's all I was gonna say about that kind of stuff. But I want you to see. I don't know if I can. Let me see if I can do this right. Susie, you'll have to tell me if I do this right. Okay, I think I want this one, or maybe this one.
What is it you're trying to do?
Do you see my screen?
Yeah.
You can see it?
You're good.
Okay, so this is, I just want to show you. Oh, maybe I have to do it this way. This is who I was in 2018. I never smiled in pictures, like ever. This was the first event with where I met my coach, Shauna. So we have these quarterly events. We have these, for coaches and VIP clients and stuff. But I never smiled in a photo ever. And I always had filters because I wasn't comfortable in my own skin. And like, it makes me like sad looking at these because I can feel her pain. I can feel her pain when I look at these stories, about how sad she was. I was good at faking it. Okay. Like I was a queen at faking it. But it's wild to see, what happens when you just choose to say yes, when you're like, okay, something needs to change, or I'm ready for the next level. And when you are ready for that next level, just know that asking for the next level is going to bring you just different obstacles and challenges, because it's building you up to be the person that you want to be, right? So looking at these pictures, like, it's just crazy. It blows my mind. So that's where I started. And this is where I am now. I love, I can't stop smiling. But I go to events. I never used to wear dresses because I was like, I'm not that, like, I don't have the body for that. I don't even look good in dresses. I hate dresses. Now, like, it's what I wear all summer long because I feel so good in them, right? But it also comes down to the way that you love yourself, right? If you like the fucking dress, wear the dress, guys. If you like the shoes, wear the shoes. This is like my first result. Like, this is a big transformation for me. I shouldn't say it was my first one, but this was when I did transformation 20-minute programs all summer long. I had gotten really good results, but I had went all in. I was like, okay, I'm ready for the next level. Like, what's next? So then I worked on my nutrition, and I didn't like overwhelm myself. I personally started, like, 1 week I did breakfast. The next week I focused on lunch. The next week I focused on dinner. The fourth week I focused on everything. And then I just would repeat that process. So 1 week breakfast, 1 week lunch, 1 week dinner, fourth week, everything. And so I built myself up because I feel like when you look at the whole scheme of things, it can be overwhelming when you're trying to get into a routine with workouts and when you're trying to, focus on nutrition. So that was just something that I did. I don't know if anyone's ever heard of that before, but that's just kind of what I did. And then these are like some of the girls that have been on our team. And so Shannon was a girl that she's now a nurse. She lost over 70 pounds. And she like did all kinds of workouts. She took her workouts with her when she went to Spain because, you can do it online. Kara is a dental hygienist. She has lost 30 pounds. Shauna's down here in the bathing suit. Shauna, for her, a lot of her story is about her mind, the way that she feels about herself. It's more of a mindset transformation for her. But she also came out of an abusive relationship, and she couldn't, wear those things. So now that she sees that, she's, beyond excited. This is our team. Sometimes we get together at different retreats and stuff. This was a weekend that we got together and went away. It was so much fun. Like, I had so much fun. And then obviously, like, in the coaching world, we hit like a really big goal. So we went away and we celebrated. But this is to show you, ladies, that you are unstoppable. Okay. Like, there's going to be bumps in the road in your journey, whether you are starting tonight, whether you've already been with us for a while. There are bumps in the road. You're going to hit them and like just coast through them, right? take them on, take it as a learning opportunity. I don't know if you, Caitlin, or Susie can say anything to that, but like there's going to be times when you are tested to your limits. And so sometimes it's good to take a step back. Sometimes it's good to just hit that shit head on and like fight your way through it with all you've got. And other times that's when you're like, okay, like I need to reach out to the girls in the group. I need support. I need extra accountability. But that's, it's crazy to see how far I've come in my own journey, but also how far everybody else has come as well. So I'm just going to check out the comments. Yeah, Shannon's transformation is wild. Hey, I even saw her post like a picture today on her stories of her in a bikini. Oh my gosh, she looks so happy and so good. Oh, that's a good quote, Caitlin. I love that quote. Never let the fear of striking out keep you from playing the game. I love that quote. I can for sure speak of that, especially with the last few weeks. Yeah, Susie, you've been tested, right? And it's going to it's inevitable. This is life, right? But I feel like when you have the workouts, when you have the tools in your toolbox, when you have a community like ours, you're not alone, right? No matter how how it goes, you're never alone. And I think the really cool part is like reaching out to those people. I'm like, man, I'm struggling, or has this happened to you before? Like, how have you like gotten through this process? So that is all I want to say for tonight. Thanks for coming out, ladies. I cannot wait. If this is your first time coming to this call, message me and we can get you started. There's a 72-hour flash sale. And if this is not your first time, well, hi. I'm going to stop recording now.